Okay, here we are. We're in progress. This is the Dvar Malchut speeches which were given by the Lubavitcher Rebbe in the end of 1991, like it is now, the end of 1991. And this is relevant to Chanuka, the holiday of Chanuka. From the speeches of Shabbat Parshat Miketz, Shabbat Chanukah, Okay, Shabbat Chanukah. From one of the novelties, from the unusual things of the holiday of Chanukah, which is different than all of the other holidays, is in addition to what we learned before, all these spiritual aspects of Chanukah that the Jews had to fight themselves, and it was a holiday from the rabbis, it wasn't a holiday from the Torah, and therefore there's a special emphasis on what we do. We have to do it from below to above. What's called the exile holidays. But there's also another difference, and this is very little spoken about, but the Rebbe is going to really explain this, the implications of this to our day-to-day life, day-to-day Jewish life in a big way. One of the differences between the holiday of Chanukah and all the other holidays, that all the other holidays, and also Shabbat, it's a commandment to make a meal. Surat Shabbat, Surat Chag, even Purim, Surat Purim. Purim is a big thing, making the meal. She'ikram lechem omayim. The main thing of a meal, basic meal, it's a commandment to eat water and bread. It's a good thing to have wine and meat and fish. But so he says also meat. On the holidays, you're supposed to have meat also. But you have to have a meal, which is not the case of the Chanukah. On Chanukah, there is no commandment to make meals. Riboy Asudas, the meals that they do make on Chanukah, these are what's called Surat HaReshut. They're optional. Shelo Kava'um, the holiday of Chanukah was not established, the Mishta Ulasimcha, for feasting and rejoicing. El Kava'um Ba'asam Yomim Tovim, these are days of, this is the language of the Rambam, of the Maimonides. They are set for days of Hallel V'Hodah, giving praise and thanks. The main thing of the holiday is lighting candles. The main thing of Chanukah is lighting the candles. Other holidays also have candles that they light, but that's like Shabbat, and that's not the main thing of the holiday. Right? The main thing of Shabbat, that's very important. Shabbat candles are very, very important. And the holidays, of course, they're very important. You light them, and that ushers in the holiday. But the main thing of the holiday of Chanukah is lights, lighting candles. And because of the miracle of the oil. One of the reasons of this, even since that the miracle of Chanukah was a victory against the Greeks. And the Greeks, they wanted to make the Jews forget that the Torah comes from God, to make them forget your Torah and to remove them from the statutes of your commandments. And it was a spiritual victory. Not like the miracle of Purim, that the main miracle was that Haman wanted to destroy all the Jews. He wanted to destroy all the Jews. Hatzala, because they're at Haman, Neged, Kiyum, Gufam, against the bodies of the Jewish people. Similarly, than the miracle of Passover. In the miracle of Passover, the Jewish people were saved from Egypt with their bodies. Therefore, they made these other holidays. They made them for the other holidays. There's a commandment to make meals, physical, eat meals, eat bread, eat food, because the holidays were physical. Something physical happened. Therefore, but on Chanukah not. On Chanukah, the Greeks were not so much of a physical danger to the Jewish people. They weren't a threat, a material threat to the Jews. They were a spiritual threat. And therefore, Kavel, the Nays, therefore they made the miracle on Chanuka, not on meals and rejoicing that shows that the body was saved, but with candles, like it says, Ner Mitzvah V'Torah, or the main miracle on Chanuka was we were saved from Greek influence. It's something like how Chabad was against Napoleon, and they even helped the Tsar against Napoleon. Now the Tsar was trying to destroy Judaism. Definitely, the Christianity is that its goal is to destroy Judaism. That's its whole basis, its whole definition is that it's replacing Judaism as a New Testament, new this. So they were trying to, but Napoleon, he didn't try to destroy Judaism. He didn't destroy Judaism. He just wanted to do away with surrender to God. He didn't like that. Napoleon's whole thing was, I'm for you, like the Greeks. I'm for you. I'm your man. Liberty, fraternity, equality. Everyone's going to be equal to me. I'm going to be equal to you. I'm just a person. You're a person. It happens to be, I have these talents to be a leader. I'm going to be the leader. You're going to be but everybody's going to be happy. You're going to do what they want. Right? And the other religious Jews were in favor of this. And the first Rebbe of Chabad was fire against it. The same thing with the Greeks. What are the Greeks? The Greeks, they said, listen, we're for you. You're going to be our equals. We'll be friends. We'll intermarry. Right? You Jews have a lot of really good, good qualities, handsome people. We'll get along together. And most of the Jews said, oh, that's pretty good. Yeah, we agree. We agree. And that was the big danger. Just like the majority of the Jews agreed with Napoleon, the majority of Jews agreed with the Greeks. But the idea behind both of them was to destroy the Jewish spirit, destroy true Jewish identity, your connection with Abraham. He's a crazy Judaism. They were against crazy Judaism. But normal Judaism, you want to add something to your life, a crutch or whatever it is, your heritage, 100%, no problem. But crazy Judaism, right now, God is creating the world. He's giving you the commandments right now. You have to do for him. Your whole being comes from God. Your whole being should be devoted to just making this world a better place. They couldn't stand that. Because we won, therefore we make the commemorate the holiday by candles, light, fire. Lochen, the Chliora, at first glance we can say, but not with meals. At first glance we can say that the Chiddush, the Chanukah, the main novelty of Chanukah regarding the other holidays is not just as far as physical goes, namely on Chanukah, the main emphasis is spiritual, not physical, but mainly ruchanim shebiyamim tovim. Also, the whole spirit of Chanukah is different from the spirit of the other Jewish holidays. Not just the fact that Chanukah stresses the spiritual more than the physical. All the other holidays, they stress the spiritual, but there's also a big stress on the physical. And Chanukah doesn't stress the physical almost at all, except candles, lights. Light is not a physical thing in a way. I mean, it's not, you can't put your hands on it, you can't. So this is, but there's also the spirituality of Chanukah is also different from the other holidays. It's not that all the holidays, including Chanukah, they're spiritual. Chanukah just doesn't stress the physical, and the other holidays do. But they all have one thing in common, their spirituality. Says the Rebbe, even the spirituality of Chanukah is different from the other holidays. How so? We're going to see. Even the physical things of the Jewish people in all the days of the year are spiritual. Because everything a Jew does is supposed to be for the sake of heaven, and even more, everything that all of your personal ways Whatever you do in the whole time that you're awake, and even when you're asleep, you should know God. Kamudgash, like it's stressed also in the food and the drink of the Jews, lechem, amayim, the bread, and the water, which is the main thing of eating and drinking. Nimshalu the Torah are compared to Torah. In Judaism, even the food that you eat is compared to Torah. Hainu she'achilas lechem. When you eat bread, when you drink water, nikar, it should be noticeable, v'nirgash, and you should be felt. She'em mashal, that bread and water are only just a metaphor for Torah. You're eating a meal, everything in the meal is a metaphor for something godly. In the Torah, if we're talking about in the weekdays and Shabbos and the holidays, how much more so? To the degree that on Shabbos and Yom Tov, the food and the drink, the meals of Shabbat and Yom Tov, it's a commandment. Surat mitzvah, it's a commandment of a meal. Onig Shabbat v'simchas Yom Tov, the pleasure of Shabbat and the joy of Yom Tov is in the meal. Alter says similarly, and all the holidays are all connected with the physical saving of the Jewish people. Purim and Pesach especially, Shekashurim Gam also with the spiritual salvation. And Passover we got out of the Abdus Lacheres, we got out of Egyptian subjugation, and we also received the Torah. And same thing with Purim. That Kimu Mashakiblu Kavar, that the Jewish people did the Torah, what they received at Mount Sinai. So therefore it's stressed also that the meals and the joy and the saving are spiritual, and both of them. Right? So, and on holidays, the spiritual and physical. Okay, and also the other way around, that the spiritual victory of Chanuka is connected also with the physical. Hari Nosav Lakach, in addition, that they bitlu datam v'lo inichom osam lasak b'torah mitzvahs. It's true that the Greeks really did force the Jews to leave Torah. They tried to force them. Pashtu yadam imamanum says that they took the money of the Jews. Lachtzam lachatz gadol. They put a big pressure on the Jews. K'shegavru b'nei Chashmonim, when the Chashmonim overpowered them and killed them, that it saved the Jewish people from, therefore they also had happiness physically. Okay, so Chanukah also had a physical saving. That's what it says. But from Mizeh moving, it's understood that the freedom of the days of Chanukah, the fact that they did not set them for meals and for rejoicing, even though there was a certain degree of salvation from the physical oppression of the Greeks. But the fact that in Chanukah, the rabbis did not make a special emphasis on this physical freedom that they had, but rather on praising God and giving thanks, this is stressing the main thing is the spiritual, Shebenes Chanukah. Not like all the other holidays. On the other holidays, it's equal. But the main thing in Chanukah, it's not just all the other holidays have both spiritual and physical, and Chanukah only has one. The spiritual. It says no. The fact that Chanukah stresses only the spiritual means that it's like double spiritual. It takes the place of the physical. Shebashar Yomim Tovim, that's the main thing of Chanukah, is to stress the spiritual side. But once again, why? That's what the Rebbe is going to answer. Why? I mean, in Chanukah, the fact is that the story that Chabad tells about Chanukah is a little bit sort of not really accurate. What are we saying? That the Greeks didn't want to destroy the Jewish people's physical lives, only the spiritual. But we see that, in fact, that they did. It says that the Greeks forced the Jews to pay money, and they forced them to pay taxes, and they forbade the Jews to do certain commandments, so that there was a certain physical oppression that they had. True, they weren't barbarians; they didn't destroy the temple like the Romans did, or the Babylonians. but still there was a certain degree. Why is it that on Chanuka, the physical side of it is almost not stressed at all? There's no meals. There's no why not? You've met, and we can understand the explanation of Biur Betochna Maruchni, the spiritual content of Inyanim Gashim, the physical things that all the other holidays have. All the other holidays, that what do we say? The other holidays, they stress the physical part, the physical miracle that happened, the physical side of it, with water and bread and water and wine. And also to a certain degree, meat. But let's talk about these three things. The other holidays, on Chanukah, the big stress is light. On the other holidays, the big stress is on meals. The meals, they make the big meals that they have. Lechem, bread, water, wine. And sometimes also, and that's the meals, and shemen, and also lighting candles, ba'adlakas neros, shebachanukah and Chanukah. Okay, so that's two ways. One way is the bread, water, and wine, which is on the other holidays. They have meals. And oil, which is the main stress of Chanukah. Chanukah, the main thing is oil, even though that you can use for the Chanukah candles anything that you want that burns, pretty much. But oil is the main thing. The miracle was with oil. It's known that. Now let's compare. So all the other holidays, the main stress is on water and wine and bread. And oil is the main stress of Chanukah. Okay, it's known that these four things, bread, water, wine, and oil, Romazim are talking about different levels of Torah. Bread and water, that's hinting at the revealed aspect of the Torah, the Talmud, the laws of the Torah. Wine, the wine of the Torah, that's talking about the secrets of the Torah. That's like the Kabbalah of the Torah. Kabbalah. And Nister of the Torah, the secret, the hidden secrets of the Torah, right? The mysteries, and shemen, oil, that's talking about the mysteries of the mysteries. In other words, even within the mysteries, there's also things that are hidden there, even deeper. We'll talk about what this is. One of the explanations is this, and maybe I'll just tell a short story. I remember one of the influences on me that I became religious. Like I told you, I went to university and I did other things. I was totally not religious Jew. I didn't know there was religious Jew. I had no connection whatsoever to Judaism or to being Jewish or any Jewish organizations or Jewish friends. None of my friends were Jewish. I had nothing to do with Judaism whatsoever. But it was a long, whole big process of things. But one of the things that happened is that I decided I was going to read religious books. I didn't know anything about religion. And so I read about the different books. I got a hold of the gospel. So I read the I Ching and anyway, all these different books. And then I got a hold of the gospel. So I read over there. It was pretty interesting, and he's always quoting the Bible says this and the Bible says this and what the Bible says this. So I said, I don't really know anything about the Bible. So I started reading the Bible. I started reading about the Torah. Nothing really there. You couldn't really understand what was going on. But somehow or other fell into my hands a book of mystical, what's it called? Occult Christianity. It's called the Rosicrucians. So I'm reading over there, and it says over there that the Bible that we have today is not the same Bible that they used to have. So, but the people in the Zohar, they had the true Bible. So it was the first time I ever read this thing, the Zohar. There's a book, the Zohar. They really had the real Bible, And really, I read the Torah, but it was very sort of, it was like interesting vaguely, but not, there was no meat over there. I couldn't figure it out. All of a sudden, here, this book, he says that the people that had the Zohar, they had the real Bible. So I figured, Zohar, that's pretty interesting. What is that? What in those days there was no Google, you didn't know what it was. So I used to go to the library and I would look for these mystical books, occult books. And then so I looked at, and I saw there's the mystical Judaism. I went and I looked, there was one whole bookcase and it was empty. There was only 5 books there, brand new. Nobody had ever emptied them. Every took them out, read them, and the books were called the Zohar. And the Zohar. So I took them all out and I took them home and I started reading. And I started reading, and there would be a sentence, all in English. It was a sentence from the Torah, and then this explanation, that Adam is talking about the supernal aspect of the inner lights of the world, of the crown, of the this. I said, wow, this is pretty amazing stuff. This is the Bible. Anyway, so little by little, I started looking, and I saw that the sentences that he brought down, he would bring down a sentence from the Bible, and then he would explain it, and then he would bring a sentence. But I started noticing that the sentences that he brought down were exactly like the same sentences that I had in my Bible. So the Jews did not lose the Bible. And the people of the Zohar, they had the real Bible, but it got lost. And here they have the same thing as what I've got. So I realized that the whole Gospels and the whole thing is a big bluff and it's a big lie. And that's how I got rid of, any connection or thought that I had that maybe there was some truth in that religion. But I saw that it is based on the Torah, and I saw that the Torah has mysteries. There's something inside of the Torah. There's a soul, there's a heart, there's a brain inside of the Torah. It's alive. The Torah is a living thing. It's not just this, one-dimensional book that's just sitting somewhere in the used to be a long time ago. I know that it's, and I read the book, the Zohar book. I didn't understand anything, but I understood. I even bought it. I actually have. It's a pretty good translation, really. By what was the guy, fellow called? What was his name? Sperling or something. It's not bad translation. Anyway, so I realized that there's something here. This is alive. The Torah is really alive. So it says that's the mysteries of the Torah. Mystery of the Torah. But then there's also what's called mysteries of the mysteries. If you think that the Torah is alive because of the mysteries, you have no idea those mysteries also have mysteries. That's more alive than you could possibly dream of. So that's what these 4 aspects of food are called. Water and bread, that's the revealed Torah. That's the regular Torah with the laws, with the religious part. Then there's the mysteries of the Torah. Ooh, that puts life into the outside of the Torah. That's the wine, like wine. But then there's oil, and oil puts even life into the mysteries of the Torah. It's the mysteries of the mysteries. Let's explain this. Lechem and mayim, water, bread and water, heim deborim amuchrachim. These are things which are necessary for a person. Wine and oil, these are things which are not necessary for a person to live. Ela kadei, but in order, lahosiv chayas, just to add a little bit of life, enjoyment in life, makes life. Simcha, joy by means of wine, and amasamecha elokim v'adam, it says that wine makes man and God happy, and tainug is pleasure. Pleasure is by means of oil. Dugmasam in the Torah, this is like the revealed Torah, all the laws of the Torah, what's permissible, what's forbidden, what is impure, what is pure. Even since the muchrach liot, you have to have the commandments. A person that only knows Kabbalah, knows all the secrets, and he doesn't do the commandments, that's not Judaism at all. At all. It's just, nice ideas. In order to know the deed, what you should do. That's Judaism, is the doing, the commandments. Understanding what it says in the Torah. It's like having a person with no body, right? I've got a soul. Congratulations, you got the baby is born. There's no body there, but there's a soul. The soul is born, and he's not. What do you mean? There's no. A person is a body. Okay, so you didn't get a body. You got a soul, a beautiful soul. The soul is a beautiful soul. That's nothing. It's like the Torah without a body. It's like a baby born without the Torah, without the laws. I'm sorry, it's like a baby with no body, just has a soul. All he has is the spiritual. That's like, and so this is, therefore, the body of the Torah, this is like bread and water, that you have to have it. That's the essence of the Torah. The nistra of the Torah, the hidden parts of the Torah, namely Maisa Bereshis, how God creates the world, Maisa Merkava, the different aspects of the spiritual aspect, the pardes, what's called the secrets of the Torah, knowing God, that by means of this just adds life and pleasure in doing the commandments from love of God. The main thing is the commandments. And that you have to know God, your Father, and serve Him with a complete heart. This is like wine and like oil. This just adds on pleasure to the Torah. Pleasure. Beneath the Torah, in the concealed parts of the Torah, Guf itself, there's also a big difference between the secrets of the Torah and the secrets of the secrets of the Torah. Like, for instance, the difference between wine and oil. Wine, even though that you don't have to have it for a person, therefore, drinking wine is not constant, just like water, except for maybe alcoholics, but it's not healthy. Only in special times. That those special times, this adds on wine, that you have a special need for wine. You have to have an extra appreciation of life, of like on Shabbat and Yom Tov, etc. Hari, behold, the marriage, it says by the wedding, they drink a cup of wine. And in these special times, they drink with a drink in itself, water. Of mashke chashuv, then it's called a special beverage. Shemavorachim alav, that they bless on it, a special blessing. Brei pri agafen. It's a special blessing. Masha'in came, which is not the case. Oil is kishemishtamshim bo, when you use it for kadei lahusif, to add pleasure. Ain't shosinoto, you can't drink oil on its own. Exactly, it says oil on its own is not healthy. Ella ma'ravim mimenu, we mix it with something else, and only a little bit. Dugma, so this is like the concealed Torah, the hidden Torah. Wine, this is talking about the secrets of the Torah. These are secrets of the Torah that add pleasure in the Torah. It's relevant to be revealed, like wine, that sometimes you drink it as a regular beverage. But oil, this is talking about the secrets of the Torah. The secrets of the Torah, and this is above revelation. Just like oil. Oil, you cannot drink it on its own. It's not a thing that provides nourishment to a person if you drink it alone. But until shemazik, it even damages a person if you drink oil alone, olive oil. Even since she'enu kli ledarga nali, it's not a vessel that some people do drink. They take a teaspoon of olive oil or something in the morning, and they can drink it, and they say it's for health or something. It could be, could be. I tried it once, and I was sick for the whole day. But I mean, different strokes for different folks. But for sure, oil is not a thing that you can just eat or drink alone. You have to dip your bread into a tipi menu. You have to put into other bread. Alpi, according to this, Yesh Ba'er, we can explain Tochen Achidush, the whole novelty of the days of Chanuka regarding the other days. The days of Chanuka were not set for Mishta V'Simcha, for meals and for joy, like all the other holidays. In other words, not bread, not water, not even wine, but the Halal Hoda, but a Hoda, but praise and giving thanks by means of lighting candles to remember the miracle of oil. Since that Chanukah is attached to oil. Shemen, the oil of the Torah. Rosin, the rosin, secrets of secrets. That's above any normal secrets. Even the wine of the Torah. Chanukah somehow is connected to the secrets of the secrets. That's the oil. Oil is a thing that you don't eat. Therefore, there's no meals on Chanukah, because it wants to stress this essential aspect of Chanukah, which is higher than high. Right? The rest of the Torah is the staple. Wine adds on a elevation to the Torah. And oil, this is even higher than higher, but it can't be imbibed alone. Much more so, it's above even the wine of the Torah and above the revealed Torah, the water and the bread of the Torah. And because its oil is so high, therefore, and the holiday of Chanukah, they don't celebrate by means of eating or even by means of the joy of wine. The Yeshla Ba'er, we can explain the connection between Chanukah and oil of the Torah. At first glance, it's not understood. Chanuka is a holiday from the rabbis. And it's not like the other holidays like Passover or Shavuot or Sukkot, that they come from the Torah. In the time of the Holy Temple, in the Second Temple, B'matzav Yorod, the things were a lot lower. They were a lot lower spiritually. In the Second Temple, then there was a possibility that the kingship, the rule, the kingdom of Greece, Harasha, the evil Greece, stood on your over the Jewish people, and they tried to make them forget your Torah. So if so, the other holidays, they were very high. The other holidays were very splendid, beautiful. The Jews were in a good situation. That's worth remembering. How wonderful Judaism is. We're waiting for the temple. We'll be able to do it again. Passover, all the Jews would go to the temple 3 times a year. It was fantastic, glorious. Chanuka was one of the lowest periods of Judaism. Even the Jews themselves wanted to leave Judaism. It was nothing. The Greeks, they were dominant. They made the Jewish people forget the Torah, forget there was God's Torah. How can it be Shadavka Chanuka, that Chanuka is a holiday, the only holiday from all the other holidays that's connected with the oil of the Torah, the highest of the high? How could the lowest of the low be connected to the highest of the high? The explanation is like this. Haseder, B'Hizgalus Torah, the way that the Torah is revealed, that the Torah was given to make peace in the world, is in a way that everything, as the more darkness there is in the world, the more has to increase the revelation of the Torah. Now just think about it for one moment. What do we believe here? What do we believe? God's creating the world, and God gave the Torah in the world. Now the Torah existed before the world. The world was created according to the Torah. Any normal person could say, why would God create such a terrible, frustrating, evil, disappointing world? And it seems that the only way out of it, of the world, is pleasure, enjoyment. Just go for yourself, eat, drink, and be merry. Tomorrow we die. Life is so short, it's just meaningless. Just make the best out of it. How could the Jewish people say that God, that they believe in, would create such a terrible world? So other religions say, well, you're here because it's a big test. It's a big test, and if you pass the test, then you go to heaven. But that also makes God really bad. Because before the soul came into the world, it was already in heaven. So it's going to be in this world, this terrible place, and you just get your money back. You go back. And who would do a thing like that? Doesn't make any sense. Why would God make such a terrible, dark world? They said the reason he did it was so that we'll transform it. That's the thing that God himself can't do. By God, there can't be darkness or confusion. God put us into the world that will transform the world. Why God wants this, I don't know, but that's what he did. It's like a person going into the doctor and saying, I don't understand, doctor, why does my eyes have to be here? Why can't I put an eye over here? Give me an eye over here so I can hide it once in a while. People want to put an eye on the back of my head so I can see all the. That's the way God made it. Right? Why did he make it? That's the way it is. You have to accept it that way. Right? That's what life is. You wonder, why do I have to eat through my mouth? I want to eat through my ear. It just doesn't work that way. This is the way God created the world. Right? A little tiny bit we can understand, a little tiny bit, sort of, at least put us in the right direction from the Torah and from the Chassidut and from Kabbalah. And from this, we can understand a little tiny bit why. But that's the fact is. So how does it work? It works that if we do transform this world, then it's a whole new thing that, so to speak, God didn't imagine. He imagined that it would be, but he wouldn't imagine that it would actually be. Okay, so that's God put us in the world. So he put the Torah in the dark world in order to make the world, transform the world into light. So the more darkness there is, the more light there has to be. That's what it says. The Torah is called light. Le'ir et olam, to shine up the world. Lochi, and therefore, mitzad gadol, because of the tremendous descent, that the Greeks stood up and they conquered over the Jews. Therefore, there had to be an additional light of the Torah. And that light of the Torah is by means of a very high level, even more than the Torah, the oil of the Torah. The secrets of the Torah, as we'll discuss, God willing, more tomorrow.